Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Well, hold on. Where's my music? There we go. Oh, and where's my other light? The other light is having issues at the moment. We'll fix that later. But we fixed our data. Hey, look at that. Everything's back to normal. All is right in the world, right? Well, it sure seems like that after, like, the whole Greenland thing seems to have resolved itself yesterday. I do kind of think that the market may be kind of sitting on it, like waiting to see what happens. I'm seeing a little bit of a flattener coming in, by the way. So that's interesting. But let's come over to the charts here. Where we got it? Over here. Take a look. Okay, so again, this down move here was more about the Federal Reserve. Then we kind of got the Greenland thing. Yesterday, there was two headlines. One was Trump said, oh, we're not going to, like, invade, but we do want it. And then, oh, actually, they gave us, like, a framework for a deal, and we're happy with it. So treasuries kind of came back a little bit. S&P 500 really recovered. I'm kind of thinking that by the end of the week, they will be pretty close to those all-time highs. Interestingly enough, oil is down this morning. That's curious. Gold and silver, well, they took a hit yesterday. I mean, silver definitely took a hit yesterday. But it's really just kind of a blip in the larger scheme of things. And, you know, they're rising back up this morning. Copper is kind of on a slow pullback downtrend. So, that's interesting. We'll see if they're able to hold that 5.7 area. And we got the Japanese yen. There has been quite the drama in the Japanese yen as of late. We don't want them to go lower. Oh, I'm a little bit behind here. So let's see here. The initial jobless claims in line with expectations at 200K and against the expectation of 209. So that seems in line. The US GDP quarter over quarter final slightly better than expected, 4.4% versus 4.3%. That's probably what the treasuries are reacting to there, why they were selling off, is that GDP was better than expected. And jobless claims, 1.849 versus the expected reading of 1.89 and a previous reading of 1.884. So the longer term jobless claims is coming down. So that's very, very good. Let's see here. Did I miss anything on this side? Bitcoin had a little bit of a run, but as of late, they've kind of gotten smacked back down and they have not recovered like the other assets. So we're kind of where we're at. Let's see here. We're getting a reading of 4.02 for volatility. And I think we're already touching the bottom of that too, aren't we? So that's interesting. There are still some like meetings and headlines that can come out of Davos. Let's come back over here. They can come out of Davos. So I think that we need to be a little cautious here still today. Also, we've got like PCE, consumer spending, personal income, all of that stuff. at the top of the hour, which is pretty important for the treasuries. Actually, with all of that in mind, there's not anything later, is there? Oh no, there's a 10-year tips. I don't know, with all of that. Oh, and then there's a Bank of Japan rate decision tonight. I'm kind of surprised that the volatility is still 402. But whatever. So I think I'm going to be a little cautious. I kind of wanted to come in here now that we got everything set back up and take some trades, but I don't think that's going to happen. But let's see here. We want to be now on January 2026 for the micro futures. It looks like I need to update my instruments though. If I can remember where that is in the new jigsaw. Nope, that's not it. Download instruments. There we go. I don't know, guys. It does kind of look like they're trying to hold it to the projected volatility level today. While that's going, let me see if I can figure out why the light's not working. I've never had this much trouble with it. Live from a dark cave somewhere is like incognito. I like reset, so it like goes over Wi-Fi, and the first versions of these ring lights from Elgato always kind of had problems, but this one's kind of weird because I mean we used it yesterday, no problem. So what's going on there? I mean, I could go back there and look, but I don't think that's going to do anything. But let's pull this up first. And now we should have 2026 January. Good. I think we want to show more levels than that. Oh no, it says I have market depth of 50. I guess that's just as much as they're going to show us. But we can show depth history. That might help a little bit. Okay, and then we should also change oil here. Here, we should be on CL. I hate that. CLH. Yes. Okay. All right, everything's looking good here. It looks like the treasury's recovered from that news there. So the play was indeed to fade the projected volatility range. Or rather, the first downside. Oh, I guess that was overnight projected volatility. That's interesting. Okay, well, anyways. Yeah, let's try going around the desk and seeing if I can fix it that way. But I don't think that that's going to change anything. I don't even remember how we connected them. Okay. We're going to reset it. Okay. Maybe I need to try it from my phone. Alrighty, Tails. Can be one of those days. I was having these kinds of issues yesterday. Not like specifically with the light or anything, but it's just like nothing's working the way that it's supposed to. What's going on? There it is. Hey, it's there. Hey. Okay. Heard a big click there. Was that the E-minis? Hell, it does look like the E-minis are a little bit more twitchy than they usually are at this time. Let's see here. The yen has remained stubbornly weak above USD JPY 155 despite of converging monetary policies between Japan and the US. In fact, the Bank of Japan raised the policy rate by 25 basis points in December, while the Fed eased on the same month. The market probably looked through the tug of war over rate hikes between the Japanese government and the Bank of Japan, Prime Minister Takechi's strong preference for lax monetary policy has undermined the Bank of Japan's endeavor to further normalize, especially when economic uncertainties remain elevated on the back of intensifying political tension between China and Japan. Moreover, the jittery bond market has raised the bar for the Bank of Japan to hike on January 23rd. On the same day, Prime Minister Takechi will dissolve the lower house and call a general election on February 8th. The market has been concerned about the policy proposals among LDP and oppositions to eliminate the consumption tax on food, which would further deteriorate Japan's fiscal position. They have a consumption tax on food? Well, maybe you should get rid of that. But anyways, with these developments, the 10-year JGB yield rapidly rose to 2.2%, the highest level in the past 27 years. Because a rate hike could further shake the bond market, the Bank of Japan is expected to decide a status quo at a politically sensitive period. Oh, there's Anstefa. Oh, we should download that, huh? Get his latest version of the DOM he's been working on to test out. We can install it on this machine. I'm kind of thinking, as much as I would like to take a trade, I'm not seeing much going on over here in the micros. The treasuries kind of came down and up. We've got bigger news coming in. So I don't think today is the day for a trade for me. So we can test this out a little bit. I was thinking, one of the things I was thinking about, let's save this first. If I come back over here, yeah, I'm just, I think I closed it last time. Yep, I did. Thanks to your testing it, no problem. Wonder if that I don't know, this Holtz thing kind of showing me that 53% long in crude oil futures. What do those numbers mean? How can it be 27% long or negative 49% short? Is like 100% long. That how do they sort that out? But why is crude so long? And I'll just upload this old one. I was thinking about the font we were using. We used isovinca term. I'll load it over here. Oh, you know what? We're going to have to start NinjaTrader after this, aren't we? That's okay. We can do those sorts of things now because the DOM... Okay, E-mini is going. Okay, it does not like it. Unable to retrieve type info, drawing tool, or assembly. Ouch. Retrieve the loader exceptions property for more information. I think you packaged something there in it that shouldn't have been packaged with it. Man, how many of these did it open? That's crazy. I'm going to be sitting here for like 5 minutes clicking the OK button, closing them all. Ah. It opened up like 50 error windows. Oh, we're almost there. Done. Okay. Because it should tell me, like, you know, now you need to restart NinjaTrader, right? But I'm kind of afraid to restart it like that way. So I'm just going to take this one. Okay. Removed. I guess when I test it again, I did not. So because I tried installing it on my desktop machine, which never had it installed, there was no need to remove NinjaScript assembly first. We could try it on the old machine. Take a look first. Probably you packaged it, missed an option on packaging it, or like you included something that, because well, here, actually, I can give you. Unable to copy. I just type it. Unable to retrieve type info for script.drawing tool from assembly. Which kind of suggests to me that that type is used in the assembly somewhere and shouldn't be in there. Because why would it be in there? That's a regular NinjaTrader object. Okay. Next thing was I'm trying to make my notes syncable between the desktop, my phone, and my laptop with Git, which means I want to put it into my private Git repository, but the tool that I want to use it on my phone only supports SSH, so I'm trying to get SSH on my private Git repository to work. I think I fixed it actually, but the like the SSH stuff on my desktop here doesn't work. So I need to go and find I had a thing I made that does it, and I just have to find it. Oh, I forgot I'm muted. I'm sorry. I was just ranting about how the worst part of the developer experience on Windows is dealing with SSH keys. On Mac, easy, no problem. There's definitely something that you got to do to initialize the agents, and I'm just not seeing it, and I'm a little bit like, this method right here, this from env for new shells, super useful. I'll ask Gemini. Gemini fast. Oh, it says that there's a Windows service for it. Well, that's interesting. Let's try this. Oh, I think I need to run it as administrator, so I have to open a new PowerShell as administrator. Okay. Okay. Aha. Aha. Okay. So now I think I do this. Do I have the git clone command on my history here? No, I don't. Oops. Still denied me, huh? Maybe it's because it's trying to do it git at. Well, let's verify that the key is correct. That is not it. Oh no, it says that it has already been added. Okay. Is it because... Oh, no. It has the right word. It says that Git is using a different SSH agent. So first of all, let's kill this. Aha! I got it to work. The treasuries are selling after that initial recovery, eh? And just try dabbing my tears and like kind of... I think there was something on there that my skin did not like. Get a new one. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. That is very interesting. It's saving. I saved all of my notes with LF line endings. Really? Do you think Trump backed off because of treasury? No. This is man. No offense, Rox Neutrino, but this something is something that just drives me absolutely crazy. Like, how many times can Donald Trump do art of the deal and people still not figure it out? This is what he does, guys. He comes in and he says the most insane, crazy position that he can possibly stake out. We want to take over Greenland. We want the whole thing. We're willing to use military power if necessary. Going all, saying all the crazy things. And you would think that people would be like, well, he's not going to do that. He says crazy things all the time. He's not going to do that, right? And that's what people said about Venezuela. And next thing you know, military is landing with directed microwave devices that make people bleed from their nose and all this sci-fi shit, and abducts the president, well, the so-called president of Venezuela, illegitimate president of Venezuela, and transports him to the U.S. Yeah, he'll do gangster shit if you push him. But the reality is that he knows that these people are not that stupid. If they're that stupid, then he'll do the thing. But they're probably not that stupid. He knows they're going to try and negotiate, right? And so then they negotiate and he gets some sort of agreement that is nowhere close to the crazy, ridiculous thing that he said. And that's what happens. He went to, why was he pushing Greenland so hard all of a sudden? It's just out of nowhere. Why would he be like, oh, we're going to do tariffs even? Why would he just out of the blue, now we need Greenland so bad, like right this minute, that I'm going to threaten tariffs? That doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you why. It's because he knew he was going to Davos and that he'd be negotiating with people and that he wanted to negotiate something on Greenland. So what happened was always the plan. In fact, when you look earlier in the week at what Scott Bessent was saying, he was basically straight up telling you that it was just bullshit. That they were just bullshitting and let it play out and it'll all be fine and you'll all go back to, everything will go back to the way it was. That's exactly what happened. I think it's so funny that they call this trade the taco trade, which stands for Trump always chickens out. Because I don't think that Trump is the one that's been chickening out. You go and you look at the markets, he's not the one chickening out. And he's done this now literally dozens of times and people haven't figured it out yet. That's so crazy. But that just shows you how absolutely bonkers the media hysteria around this sort of stuff is, right? The media, CNN and those guys, not that I'm picking on CNN, I mean Fox too, they want you to think that this is all Trump being unhinged and we don't know what's going to happen and this is extremely unusual, blah, blah, blah. If they told you on the news, oh, well, you know, Trump does that to negotiate, nobody would tune in. It'd be boring. That's what happened. Next time he says something crazy like that and the market goes down, buy the dip. Why do you avoid trading when absorption is happening? Oh, I wouldn't say that I avoid trading when absorption is happening. So first of all, I don't really think, well, you've been around, Lion, that I have really seen something in the 10-year treasury that really qualifies as strong absorption to me. First of all. And then the other thing is that I tend to be more interested in like a really strong trend. Okay. Not right now. I mean, right now it's still we're still in kind of a mean reversion period, but I very much prefer a trend. So I tend to look for the situations where I see the absorption and I really think that it's going to go through it. That's why, you know, again, I don't know how many times I have to say this. Any kind of technical setup that you will see defined online is unlikely to be effective long term because the market is statistically efficient. If it was just as simple as every time that there's absorption on the DOM and then you take a reversal there, then people would do that like literally every time. And it would happen so fast that you wouldn't be able to get into it. So what do? How does the market sort that out? Because I do think that, like, generally speaking, if there's lots of limit orders absorbing in an area on only one side, then that can really stop price. That can make it difficult for price to continue moving. So how does the market sort that out? It on a risk-adjusted basis. So when it does reverse, it doesn't reverse for very much. And when it goes through, it really goes through. And the actual probability of, like, you know, if it reverses is maybe it reverses like 55% of the time or something like that. Like, it's super tiny. Okay. Do you enjoy this? You look dead inside. Yeah, debugging SSH issues is not fun, and it does make me feel dead inside. But I think we fixed it. Yes, and we do have the data is back. I really want... Oh, you know what? I totally almost forgot. There's one last thing that we got to test. One auto. Yay. Yay. Okay. Yep, we're all good. Not only is the data back, but we can place orders. So everything's good. I should email them, because those guys went through the ringer trying to fix all this. How do you personally identify? I don't identify the trend. I predict the trend. I know what it's going to do before it does it. I know all of the different types of players in the market and how their strategies work and when they might need to buy or sell a lot of treasuries. And then I predict what those guys are going to do before they actually do it. So in this particular situation, the reason that we're not doing anything is because I know that the big players are going to be sitting on their hands. One, because there is big data at the top of the hour. We got PCE, and that's pretty significant to inflation because that's the Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation, although that one doesn't usually give us too many surprises. But also included that, and that is going to be information about like personal income and things like that. And then we still have Davos going on, and there could be some big headlines still to come out of Davos. So I don't really want to take a position on. I don't think that I'm really going to see big players really making a huge move here today. They're going to wait until that is passed. Now, we did get a little bit of a sell. It was worth like 2 ticks. So, what was I doing? Okay, I tested that. Now back to the get thing. Okay. Where is... Oh, here we go. Are you predicting the news outcome? Not this time. On the PCE, I would think that it's probably going to be pretty close to in line, but that people are kind of leaning a little bit on like they're afraid of inflation. So I think that there's a better probability that they react to something in the numbers that causes us to go down. But since we've already kind of moved down a little bit, maybe that trade is already passed if you were going to try and make that play. Mm-hmm. So here's the open. Oops. Oh, that's right. And set the origin. Cool. So now, come back. Yay! All of my notes. Awesome. Would you still scalp mean reversion in the yes, but only when I'm not anticipating any major flows and I see that the order flow has created like a big imbalance, like people have really gotten offsides, which is kind of always a little scary of a thing. But like, you know, if we didn't have this news coming up and this you know, the whole Davos thing going, and I think that we would need a little bit more to get them off sides here. But we are seeing a little bit of selling and them not getting very much for it. I wouldn't necessarily call it absorption. It's just there does seem to be a mild sell meta order going on here. But if I had really seen like some really strong selling and then, you know, we're up a few ticks or whatever on very little delta, that's this kind of the sort of thing that's like, oh yeah, if they go a little bit higher, all those guys that went short are gonna puke. But in this case, I do think that it's a meta order short. So I'm only gonna do that when I think that like the short-term traders all have gotten themselves on the wrong side. Okay, so now that I've got that.
Block sell.
Okay, let's do that part over again. We'll clear it. Okay.
Block sell.
Okay, so now that's a relatively big iceberg there at 17.5. And they're doing it again at 17. So we got something going here. So it's done this a couple of times now, all at the same place. So we are seeing some real absorption here at 17.5. I'm not particularly interested in taking it because we got the news at the top of the hour. And I don't think that the reward in it is very high. If I took it for the mean reversion, maybe we could get 19 though. But in this case, you know, I think that if there were anybody selling, I think, you know, like if there were anybody really executing big orders before all this, I think that they would be selling because they might be concerned about PCE. And this whole kind of sell America trade is still kind of going on after all of the hoopla of earlier in the week. So that's not a flow that I think I want to fight. But it will be interesting to see how it plays out. If it reverses, it's probably not worth much. If it keeps going, it could get ugly. cloning. So another thing we want to watch here is there might be a steepener coming through. It says that it's cloning, but it's been cloning for a while, so maybe it's not actually working. Man, Russell's doing really well this morning. I don't think it's actually working. Connection timeout. Well, that one's not too promising either. Oh, wait. It totally worked that time. I just needed to add the SSH : / to it. There we go. Excellent. Okay. What are you doing? I am getting my notes synced. So I had a bunch of ideas yesterday about like what we need to do with the channel and where we're going and so forth. Did a little bit of analysis about like what kind of videos did well in the past and all that sort of a thing. And the conclusion that I made was that the people that watch our channel are people that are high intention. You are all guys that you're already trading. You've probably been trading for a while, you know, and a lot of it is like, you know, how to use the software when you first install it, or which software am I going to get, that sort of a thing. So I have a couple of things along those lines that we want to do. So, you know, I was writing down some video ideas and things like that, making sure that I had it all down. But then I was like, oh, there's no way for me to like write it on my laptop and get it on my desktop. And the way that I would do that in the past is I would use something like SyncThing or whatever. But I've decided that I really need to just track it with Git. And since I have like a private, my own private Git, you know, repository, whatever you want to call it. It's not the repository, but my own private Git server. I decided I will set it up there. But I had all of these issues. Like last night, I realized, oh, I don't have it set up to use SSH, so I had to fix that. And then where I kind of left off was I don't have my desktop machine here set up to be able to use SSH to commit with stuff. I always either use like one of my Ubuntu images or something like that. So I got SSH working here on Windows, and then I had to mess around with the repository and clean it up a little bit. So I did that. So now when I get to work, I should be able to check it out and have my personal notes on my work laptop. And then the notes that I wrote over there, I can kind of save into anything and maybe clean some stuff up and all of that. So I got all of that sorted out. And with that in mind, one thing that I need to check on is, did we ever add the information about the new, what's it called? Hold on. Edit. No, I don't. Okay, so we have an affiliate program now for NinjaTrader. So we need to start putting that everywhere. And it looks like, so when we did it before, I kind of had issues with their website and it didn't get a link and all that. So that's why I think I never put it in there. So I'll add that NinjaTrader affiliate link. Probably we should do this. I'll keep the Discord and my NinjaTrader and get indicator package above the affiliate links. Save. Okay, so can you guys see it now? Try clicking on the link for me. Because then I can go into the stats and see that people clicked it, right? So if you go into the video description, there's a new URL for NinjaTrader affiliate link. So if you guys could click on that so that I have some data to see that it works, I would appreciate it. And then I should talk here about what we got in the links section. Kind of the goal here. Thank you, Ann Stuffa. the goal here is there's a couple of expenses that we want to pick up on a monthly basis. Like we want to have, I think I would like to pay for a VPS. I think that there would be some big benefit to that. I think I kind of want to have some automated jobs running. So I may need to like put those in the cloud and I want them to be doing like AI stuff. Your tracker blocker blocks it. That's it. Anyways, I'm one of the things I want to do is I want to build some AI stuff that regularly posts in the $3 Discord, but that kind of requires some hosting and things like that. So there's a couple of things that we want to pick up, so that's why I'm kind of focusing on cleaning up the affiliate links and things like that. So what do we got down in there? I use NinjaTrader. That's the platform that I'm using for my charting. I also have my own NinjaTrader add-on package that you can download from speculatorseth.com. You get a free 2-week trial. And then for a lifetime license, it's $200. This includes things like our volatility levels, which are like incredibly useful. I don't know how I ever traded before that. And our inventory cost basis, which I don't know, they're not following too closely today here in the treasuries, but often gives us a really, really good idea of where market makers are potentially positioned. So, and then for the DOM, we use Jigsaw. So there's an affiliate link in there. And then in the, for News Squawk, we use Financial Juice. So we got all of that. And then there is also a $3 Discord. It's only $3 a month. And that is just there to keep the bots out. So I made it as cheap as possible. But I do post some stuff there, and I'm going to be posting some more stuff. So you're welcome, says Telemore. What for what? For clicking the link? Oh, only needed one person to click it, but I appreciate it, guys. Unless you're going to like click it and actually buy NinjaTrader, and then we could see, you know, because I'm not even sure what the commission is on that, but I digress. So, ooh, hey, they're pushing down a little bit further. Okay, so I don't know if you're still here, Lion, but there you have a very clear example of where there was some pretty massive absorption at 17.5, and they still pushed through it. Worships John's Bottomley as a mentor, but always forgets the John who. Oh, you're saying you're welcome for the volatility levels concept. Yeah. Well, that particular. I mean, really, it was that particular measure of volatility. Yes. I'm trying to remember. It was because the earlier volatility levels that we had that was just based on VIX or move was I think Rich was the one that told us to do that. Anyways, you deserve some creds, because I do think at this point that the volatility levels is the most useful of those indicators in there. Yeah, Uzi is a John. Yes. I totally forgot about that, because there's just everybody in trading is named John for some reason. Should have named my kids John. Now, remind me tomorrow, Uzi, because you had a change that we wanted to make to it, and I was putting it off because we weren't actively using NinjaTrader or the data or anything. And now that we've got all of that fixed, should be able to go and update that. I also want to check that, well, I won't be able to like test it, but I can at least read through the code and check that it will work for stocks too. That's something that we would like to have, because I am pretty seriously considering getting the DX feed data. Actually, I wanted to make a poll, but I guess we only have 5 minutes, so I won't do that. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do a poll. See if you guys agree that we should get DX feed market depth NASDAQ data for stocks. And I don't think that I will necessarily take very many stock trades, but we could. We could. And Steffa says stocks would be amazing. Given that the pattern day trading rule is changing, I think that there's going to be a lot more people just trying to play individual stocks. And so having the order flow for that up would be really, really good. Granted, I'll only be able to show you guys the first 30 minutes, but I still think that that would be, useful and attract an audience and level up our skills, because stocks are hard to trade. There's a lot you have to think about. Man, they are really starting to sell off here just ahead of the... I'm curious. I'm not really seeing anything else really moving big. The S&P 500 is selling off at the moment. Still, I think that the treasuries are seeing, well, and the net change in cumulative delta is about 17K. So not huge. That's actually, for that small of an imbalance, it's actually a pretty big move. Put the volatility levels on micro contracts? I don't think that would work. Oh well, but you might want to put it on the micro contracts, but then have it be using the volatility of the main instrument. And so you need to be able to define the main instrument. I gotcha. Yeah. Well, I could make a button that automatically tries to find the micro contract. Actually, that might be hard. But for now, we're just going to have something that you can type in the instrument name that you want. And it will have to match up what you see over here on bar charts. So that's why I was saying, okay, so when you come in and you say options quotes for the bond, it is ZBH26. But then if I do a stock like in, come on. You know what? Sometimes this surfing keys you have to, let's see here. Alt S. Intel Core. Okay, so it does work like that. So we should be able to do it for stocks. And we can see what kind of interesting things happen with stocks. By the way, Intel was up 10% yesterday. Can you believe that? That is kind of bonkers. Like, it was a big day for the markets, granted, but for a stock like Intel to change 10% is a little wild. I'm not entirely sure why it moved like that. Yeah, from the user perspective, you'd ideally want it to automatically scrape when you put the indicator on a micro contract chart. I agree. So we need to look at if NinjaTrader has something in there that allows us to detect that it's a micro instrument and figure out what the main instrument is. So we might be able to just say, if the name has micro in it, search for an instrument that has the same symbol but without the M, and maybe it'll catch it automatically like that. Did someone get the 10 a.m. data early? I don't know, man. I kind of feel like that this move is a little bit too much for what I expect to happen from the 10 a.m. data. But we got a minute, so I suspect, well, on bar chart the symbol isn't MES. Just ES. It's ESH 26, right? I digress. I think that there's still this sell America trade going on. Like really, like when you looked at Davos, especially like the Canadian Prime Minister talking, basically what they're saying is, you know what, we never really liked being second place to you guys in America. We never liked you. And we think that we have an opportunity to, have things a little bit more like the way that we want by playing footsie with China. Okay, well, China will haul you out from the inside, but go ahead. But if that means that a lot of Europeans are selling American assets, including bonds. Okay, here comes the news. So the headline number here, they're telling me 2.8. Oh, the headline PCE is 2.8%. So all of these numbers are coming in line. Let's see here. The only one that is not in line is U.S. personal income, spot 3% versus the expected spot 4%. So that would actually be a buy on the treasuries. Actually, the treasuries did move up a little bit. So I think that the knee-jerk reaction that I'm getting from the treasuries here seems to fit. But again, I suspect that the selling is a different flow. So we got to be careful. Now that news is out of the way, any really big meta orders, like if there really is a lot of guys out there that are like, well, we still need to sell our American bonds, or we just need to sell bonds in general because they're concerned about what's going on in Japan and all of that sort of stuff, right? They're going to sell. So I do think that if I were to speculate here, that I would be more likely to see selling meta orders today. And if they are here and they were waiting for that news to be passed, maybe in the next 30 minutes you'll see them come through. But you still got to be careful. There is an auction today, so you might see some odd flows, some big absorption in places off of that. And there's still possibility of Davos headlines. So I think that if you're going to be in the market still, you would want to be nimble. But maybe that little pop up, you just sell that little pop. I don't know. I don't think I have a strong enough conviction on it to make a trade. But if I'm gonna pick a direction, I still think short. I wish I could keep going. That's the problem. We need to be able to stream longer. It seems to me that if I was able to stream for an extra 90 minutes a day, that it would really, really help the channel out. But alas, we can't do that. That's also kind of why I'm thinking like maybe I should just pay for a VPS, because I run all of this stuff on the VPS, sure. But then when I'm at work, I can look at it and I can keep a little bit better tabs of what's going on in the market at work. Maybe it doesn't matter. Well, what I do need to do is I need to put more stuff in the Discord for you guys. That's a big one. That's a big one. Okay. Oh. Oh, Steph was saying, did you install the latest version of NinjaTrader? But my desktop is stuck on the old 8.0 branch. So maybe we do need to go and take it and try it. So we'll do that tomorrow morning. I'd try it on the one on the VPS and see how that works. Okay. Interesting. That's another thing I really got to work out is can I really just stay on this version of NinjaTrader forever? Or do I really actually need to upgrade now? Well, I just funded, I just added more money into an account over here. So I don't think if I was going to switch over to NinjaTrader that I would be doing it today. Really don't want to, though. If they had rhythmic data, then maybe. Okay. Guys, I got to go. Stay excellent, team.